This is the, what's the official name of this panel? It's Cook, Price, and Heckle Omai. Breckel. I'm sorry. How to start the panel. Make a complete idiot out of yourself. Great. So I'm Tweak, and over there, the Ancient One, Silvermane.
Hello everybody, how you doing tonight? Glad to be here.
Dude, it's 11:45 in the morning.
It's night somewhere.
He's an old man, he needs his nap. Anyway, we are joined by some very talented people here. They are the minds and the hands behind the My Little Pony comic series. We have Andy Price. Yes, you gotta remember they're artists, they live off of praise. You got Katie Cook.
It's not louder than Andy's, I'm gonna be really mad.
And then Heather Breckel. I forgot my little custom cheat sheet. So, I dropped something. Don't worry about that. That's fine. We're only live on the internet. No one cares. Okay, so I believe everyone out here has read the comics. Yes. No one just wandered in for the random people. I'm going to follow them. Okay, good. So, how many of the comics? Because I know that there's been several other artists and writers that worked on it. How many of them have been this trio right here?
Issues 1 through 4, the Return of Chrysalis arc is us, the Rarity Micro, the Big Mac arc, and the upcoming Shining Armor and Cadence, and a micro that we have not announced yet.
Ooh.
And then along with, God knows how long this is going to go on. So,
forever.
Also, I've been on the most issues. I'm on 1 through 12. I believe I'm also going to be up to 14. I'm also on the Rarity and Applejack micros.
have you mentioned what you do yet?
Yes, he's the colorist, and he's also the inker. So of course I have to ask, what's it like being a tracer?
I'm not an inker actually. He's the inker.
Then I'll ask you then.
Yeah, it's so funny we had this conversation before. Heather is the colorist who does all the amazing, amazing colors on Andy's inks and pencils and amazing stuff, and makes us look like we do a lot more work.
Like we actually know what we're doing.
Makes us look like
And then I just write the words.
you get the easy job.
Yeah.
Probably take the most notes.
I do. I'm the one that gets the most notes.
Like, you got this character out of character.
I
What's
get
wrong with you?
I get all the emails.
So speaking of all of that, I noticed that especially in the later arcs, there's a whole lot of movie references and all these things going on in the background that's just in the artwork. I'm wondering two things. Number one, do you collaborate on that, or is that all the artist things? And do you have to get permission to include those sort of movie references and stuff?
It depends on what it is. We go back and forth. There's things that Katie will say in the script deliberately. And then beyond that, while I'm working on the art, Katie and I are constantly texting. I'm going to do this. I dare you. You go right ahead.
I double dog dare you.
You know, like for example, in issue 1, the Blues Brothers, that was me. But in issue 4, with all the series of doors with the horror film references, that was really Katie going, okay, what movie? She texted me, what movies do you want? And we went back and forth, and then she was like, okay, we want this, we want Pennywise from It, we want the Phantom of the Opera. But this is what divides men and women. In the Phantom of the Opera, she had, come with me, my darling. So she's like, okay, the Michael Crichton, Andrew Lloyd Webber Phantom. That's girls. I'm like, no, Lon Chaney. It's gotta be the Lon Chaney comic. That's guys. So, but we do collaborate. We go back and forth on specific ideas. Some are mine, some are hers. It just depends on what we want.
People need to remember that Andy and I have been friends for years before we started doing this comic. So it's like working on a comic with your buddy. And
Have you done any other comics together?
oh God, we'd kill each other if we didn't. No, it's just we've known each other from cons and hanging out, and Andy has stayed at my house. He knows my cats.
Hey, that's a big step in friendship, is getting to know the cats. Because the
Yes.
cats, they'll kill you if they don't like you.
Could you tell us real quick how you got involved with doing it with My Little Pony? Were you approached, or did you approach IDW to start this? And did you expect it to get as big as it is?
Well, I'll start that one because I was approached by IDW first, and the editor is a fan of my work, and we've wanted to do some stuff for a while, and he really likes my webcomic, so he emailed me one day and said, would you like to do ponies? And I said, okay. And that is the entirety of how I got to do the pony comic. That is the whole story.
Truly an emotional journey.
It
there.
was. It is. It
An
was
epic
tears.
quest of self-discovery.
It's a trilogy, actually.
Kate Blanchett is going to be portraying her in the film version.
We couldn't get Leo DiCaprio, but we'll get someone.
Unfortunately, they cast Jim Belushi for me.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti was up for it, and that was just...
You mentioned making the horror movie references, so I have to ask, of course, what are your favorite horror movies? Because in the book we had The Shining, It's, Temple of Doom was awesome.
In issue 4, we reference Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Stephen King's It, Creature from the Black Lagoon,
The Shining,
1929 family opera, The Shining, Stephen Kubrick's The Shining, or Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and
Evil Dead was there as well. They had
yes,
closed doors.
Evil Dead 2 specifically, and there's another one. I'm missing one.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers in issue 1 was basically the theme of the whole story, really.
Yeah.
But as far as a favorite horror film, I don't know if I can pick one. Because I'm a very big horror aficionado, especially classic horror, Universal Monsters, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff. But The Changeling with George C. Scott is probably one of the creepiest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think one of my favorites is I really like the more obscure ones. I really like Suspiria and
It's Dario Argento, right?
yeah, his stuff's great. I also really like Inside, which is one of the only movies to really horrify me because there's a scene that they kill a cat and I can't watch it.
Yeah. We can eat your soul, and that's fine, but don't kill the cat.
Yeah, for me, it's I like things that are more psychological thrillers. So for me, it's stuff like The Shining and
Seven and movies like that.
yeah, things that kind of put me on the edge of my seat and make me uncomfortable. Aha! Like what's in the box?
Okay, so we noticed all these movie references in the background, and we were talking about earlier about the one particular character that is an insert of a friend of yours. I wanted to know, I think it was issue 2 when they go in the cave and they meet the cave troll. Pretty pony, I will show you that I call him George.
Yeah,
So I just have to, of course, ask: Are you trying to say something else?
No,
Is that a message you see?
Everyone that said, "Oh, she's making fun of Bronies," or "That's a shout out to Bronies," no, I am making fun of Jim Miller, who is he was the lead storyboard artist on My Little Pony, and now he is the assistant director for season 4. His nickname is Big Jim. He's just a big guy, and I said, "I'm going to put you in the comics." So I wrote him as a troll, and naturally designed the troll. And so that is we are making fun of a specific brony, not bronies in general.
No.
Okay.
And unfortunately, when that came out, a lot of people was like, "Oh,
Mad.
well, these guys are just making fun of us." And we actually had some people drop the book at that point. Like,
It's like, no, I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of that guy who I've known for years, and I'm allowed to.
Well, I mean, you can't really blame us because he's big, he's dumb, and he plays.
That is you making fun of yourself.
You said
I'm saying, okay.
He just insulted all of you.
Let's hold the phone. Driver, stop. Pump the brakes a little bit here, and we're gonna move on before I embarrass myself any further. So, okay.
Not me.
Yes.
All right, getting back on track a bit. What I'd like to ask, since I like to enjoy writing, when you guys do the story arcs, do you have it all planned out in advance, exactly where it's going, or does it kind of take over sometimes and lead you in strange little directions?
For me, it's, I have to pitch all 4 issues itself to Hasbro first and kind of tell them where the arc is going. And then I write them you know, one after the other. And sometimes it leads me in a different direction. And sometimes they get really, really crazy. I cannot, at the moment, in case you did not know, I am 5 months pregnant. So my writing is going to be very, that's why I am not fat, I am pregnant right now. Everybody should realize that. But my writing is very, very different for the upcoming arcs because there is not 2 bottles of wine in every issue.
Wow. I think the child wouldn't understand. I had to drink while I was writing with you because, hey, ponies.
Anybody who loves the Rarity Micro, there is 2 very nice bottles of Malbec in that book that my parents paid for. So I was like, of course I'm going to drink 2 bottles of wine in one day and write a comic about ponies. So this is what you do.
Now, you mentioned having the cake thing, having to run things past Hasbro, so of course the question comes up, what is it like working with the evil corporate overlords of Hasbro? The demonic, soulless corporation that only wants to kill ponies.
They're delightful and they're not demonic overlords. They're people that are protecting their property and they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want because it's theirs.
Yes.
This is actually something that sticks in our craw quite a bit with a lot of the fan community that honestly believe Hasbro is bad to the franchise or they're the evil overlords. And I'm like, you know what? You wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Hasbro. This is a 31-year-old franchise and it's their property. I mean, if you don't like what they do, then why are you here? I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's the honest fact.
And it's when people get mad because they shut down an Etsy store that's charging X amount of money for something. It's because they're, what is it? The place that did the great 3D printing.
I can't remember anybody.
It's because they've started putting out stuff through We Love Fine and whatnot of 3D ponies. They're protecting their own license and their own property. You can't get mad at somebody for that.
The one thing everyone always points to is Fighting is Magic, how they let it get so far and shut it down. And the knee-jerk reaction is that, oh, that's them being sadistic. No, it's because
the second you start advertising and saying that we're going to have a profit for this, you get shut down. Exactly. You get a cease and desist.
They started getting big, and that's that. If they don't protect this, they'll have to let other things go.
Yeah.
And it's how you lose
It's
your
not
company and
simply a
all the property.
matter of profits. It's not a matter of, well, these people are making money, so we're going to stop it. It's not just money that comes into it. There are legalities of intellectual property in separate publications. Somebody can start putting out particular Twilight Sparkle merchandise. And in the eyes of the law, if they get to a certain degree, they can actually take away a trademark from a parent company. It has happened in the past. It happened almost with Marvel losing Wolverine to an independent comic. And at that point, that's when the lawyers start coming out like, this is our property, we must protect it. So they're just doing their job.
And Hasbro's been pretty good to us. Like, I mean, we've gotten away with like so much. It's like issue 9, I can't believe they let us steal that stuff with Sweetie Belle and Fire.
I don't think they even.
I was like, this is imitatable. Like when I was coloring it, I was like, did they look at the comic?
We do get a lot of notes from Hasbro. There are, you know, okay, you can't do this, or can you do this, or whatever.
Katie, what were you thinking?
Maybe you shouldn't have that second bottle of wine.
Just if you were a fly on the wall in the room with Katie and I talking,
Hasbro.
and that's just us being divas. It really is.
How dare they not let me do this?
Do you question my prudence?
But they are
have the
very
right
good at
living
work.
in this scene. What's wrong with them?
Everyone does.
Yeah, they did nix the issue where we were going to kill off Rainbow Dash. But, you know, Applejack was just going to lead her out into the pasture. Come on, she'll
Could have
be
been black and white. Rainbow Dash sprains her ankle and Applejack leading her out with a shotgun. We're gonna have to put you down, Rainbow.
Spoiler alert, it's okay.
Hey,
It's okay.
hey, more original than cupcakes. I have Pinky on my shoulder. I had to say that.
I always worried when someone, like a brony handed me like a cupcake, and I was like, I hope that there's no pony parts of this.
The story is ruined so much. Like I was.
Real pony.
Like, for the Army birthday, they served cupcakes, and one of them was rainbow colored, and I was like,
No.
I got so sad for a minute. Now, getting back to, you said that all the characters in the book are very well in character, and that's probably the biggest strength of the show. I feel is that the characters are so believable and real, and they translate so well into the comics. I just want to know, what kind of research did you do? Did you just watch all the episodes, or did you like ask people, or how did you prepare to write for all these characters?
I was a fan before I was asked to write the comic.
Oh, really?
One of the reasons that Bobby asked me is because I was talking on Twitter going, why aren't more people watching this show? Because my older brother told me to start watching it.
Like, I think we were all fans of this show beforehand. It's like, that's
And then when, like I said, Andy and I have been friends for years, and I passed him at C2E2, which is a show in Chicago, and he had all this pony art on his table, and I was already on record to write it, and we were really kind of trying to think of an artist, and he had this great Applejack piece out on his table, and all of these pony things, and I looked at him and was like, you brony bastard, where's this writing? And he had samples to me the next Monday, basically, and he was on the book days later. I mean, that's how perfect he was, that after all of this hemming and hawing, after sending Hasbro just a couple of drawings, it's like, yep, that guy, let's make that happen.
So you said your older brother got you in the show. How did you, Heather and Andy, how did y'all get into the show?
A friend of mine actually got me into the show one Thanksgiving. We gather a lot with friends at Thanksgiving, and she was telling us, you really need to watch My Little Pony and get into the Brony community, and that was a brand new word at the time. And I was like, I'm not going to watch that, that's for girls. And my wife gave in, and she's like, okay, I'm going to watch an episode. And she's like, and I think everybody can relate to, the first episode you watch, you're like, okay, show me another.
Just one more.
You watch it, you kind of feel like, one more.
I can quit anytime.
One. This is brilliant.
And I'd like to point out that my husband, who for a long time was like, oh God, I'm not watching this, I will sometimes catch him with our daughter is now somewhere else in the house playing, and he's still watching the episode that they were watching together.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, you bastard. And he has opinions on who is best pony. He hates Fluttershy, which is why he's a donkey in comics.
Yeah, when I found out that Ryan did not like, I mean, he honestly dislikes
He has opinions
Fluttershy.
about Fluttershy.
So I put him in issue 1 as a mule.
He's the mule in the bonsai hat with the unibrow. His name's Cranky Doodle Ryan. If anybody wants to do some fan art of that would make me very happy.
But he's the one that hates Fluttershy, and he's the one that made it on the Hot Topic Chrysalis.
Yeah, hold up, Hot Topic. Because my husband is lording that over everybody at this table. It's like, yeah, well, I'm on a shirt at Hot Topic.
Well, so are you.
Yeah, but I'm like this big and I'm laughing at him, so that's fine.
So what about you? How did you get sucked into all this madness?
Oh, well, it was like two things. I'm an animation fan for life. I was already following Cartoon Brew, so that's how I found it. And I saw the promo art and I thought it was kind of silly. It's like, growing up, I was never into girly stuff. I was more into Ninja Turtles and Transformers and He-Man. My sister was the My Little Pony fan. I mean, I watched some of the show growing up, but I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I'm an animation fan, and I went into it like, I thought, well, this might be kind of lame, because girl shows were always really stupid, like, growing up. I thought they were always really dumb. And I mean, Lauren Faust and other people are working to change that. And I checked it out, and I'm like a big anime fan, big Sailor Moon fan growing up, and the first episodes really reminded me of like the magical girl stuff that I love. So that's why I stuck with it, even though I felt those first 2 episodes aren't as strong as the rest of the series. That's what hooked me. I was like, magical girls in like a real American cartoon? This is awesome.
Canadian.
What madness is this?
Canadian cartoon. We have so little, you have to let us keep something.
Yeah, technically there's like no American.
We have ponies and Celine Dion.
That's a.
We don't come to that.
We have bacon.
America, we have Canadian bacon, and that is a poor
I was just, the main thing I wrote down.
What? Do you have a
We're
question
having
or
a
not?
private conversation and leaving out the group.
Super secrety.
Maybe you need to turn your hearing up so you can hear what we're all saying.
I just had the implant, so I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh, he's fine. He loves it. He loves the abuse.